This is the linked list cycle. In this problem, we're trying to find if the linked list is a cycle or not. So I'll just read the basic and go through an example and see how we can solve this. It says, giving head, the head of a linked list, determine if the linked list has a cycle in it. Pretty much there's a cycle in a linked list if there is some node in the list that can be reached again by the continuously following the next pointer. So for the example, it is really easy to understand if the linked list, if this pointer and the -4 was pointing to nothing, then there is no cycle. But if it eventually goes back to the linked list, then it is a cycle. Just like this, example 2, just like that. And obviously this is not pointing to anywhere in the linked list, so this is false. So this is pretty basic to understand. I think the hardest part is actually thinking of how we can solve this. So how can we find if there is, a null? So one of the first things that we think about is, does the linked list end? But the thing is, what if it doesn't end? Then we are stuck in an infinite loop. So we have to kind of approach it different, because our first thought is, does the linked list end? Maybe we can check for, if it is end, if it doesn't end. And if it doesn't end, then, how can we check if the linked list ends or not? So those are one of the things that we really have to think about. And actually, one of the things that actually I thought about when I did this was, what if we had 2 pointers? So let's say we had obviously they're both starting at 3, and one of them goes faster than the other one. So I could have a pointer that goes faster than another pointer. And no matter what, if that pointer, let's say, is going twice as fast or just faster in general, eventually they would meet up. So if they reach the same place eventually, then it's a cycle. If not, aka the faster one reaches null, then is not a cycle. So this problem in general is kind of tough, because you do have to think about it, maybe different approaches, how you can solve this. So how do we even write that? Well, obviously we have this list node and have first, and I want head. I want first to be whatever head is. And then I also want, well, not first, I can have fast and then slow. And obviously I do want them to point to the same place. And when we do these, we do have to have a base case. Our base case is simple. If the head equals null, we're just gonna return 0. Because if the head is nothing, and our options are either 1 is true, as you can see here, output true, and then output will be false. So pretty sure you can do true or false, or just 1 or 0. Actually, let me do this. And then here we will iterate through the linked list. So usually when we iterate through the linked list, this is not a video showing you about linked lists. You should already know about linked lists, but you should know that you would do head.next. You would do while head, for example, is not equal to null. You do head.next head, and this is going to go 3, 2, 0, 4. The 4 is null, and then it leaves that. So obviously I wrote this down because that's the approach we're going to take, but we just have to modify it because we actually want fast to go faster and we want slow to go slower. So slower, what's the slowest we can go? What the slowest we can go is actually what we did here. So, which is slow, which is next. So it's going to go one step at a time. And then we can have fast, and fast, we'll do fast, next, next. So actually, it's going to be jumping 3, 0, the next one, pretty much every other one. Eventually, if it's a cycle, they will run into each other because this is going twice as fast, and eventually they will reach each other. So you can actually say, if slow equals fast, then I can right there return true because I found out right away it's true. And here, for the case, I can return false because if it does leave this scenario, it is false. And I want to change this case. So while what? Well, while my fast is not equal to null, and also while my fast null, or why fast actually why fast next, because I want to make sure that the next one exists. So because if it doesn't, then I can just return false because I know that is over and there is no cycle. And also, I can see if this works actually, and then I submit this. Yes, so that is a success. So as you guys can see, since fast is going faster, it will know and detect if this cycle has been detected, if it's a cycle or not, or if the end is null or is not. So this is pretty much, if you know about linked list, how to iterate with linked list, it's pretty easy. You should already know from the initial when I did the while head is not equal to 0, you should know that's how you should begin, and you should know, hey, how can I iterate, or what way would I iterate through this linked list for me to get my answer. And that's how you solve the cycle detection.